Hello, I am in a cemetery that Lisa and I, when we first started this channel, we filmed here. Our first video was right here in this cemetery. Now this cemetery is called Old Stone Church Cemetery, and why it's called that is because of the old church that is right there. Now this cemetery goes back probably almost 300 years now. The graves here are the classic old tombstones. The history goes back just as far as the 1700s, probably some of the 1600s. But when we first visited here, we visited here for one reason and one reason only. And that is because there is a grave of a woman named Eliza Huger or however you would like to pronounce that name. I never know if we're saying it right at all. But when we first filmed out here, it didn't go very well. It was back when we were starting out. We didn't know what we were doing. We would try to explain the history and we would just stumble our words up, jumble our words up, and just straight up messed up everything. We filmed the video all over the place, upside down, and it was just crazy. That video is here on this channel, but I have edited it just a little bit. But I love this cemetery mostly because of the graves. You still find the old classic type vintage tombstones. Something you don't really see anymore in modern day cemeteries. It's typically markers now, and there's patriots from the Revolutionary War buried here. There's governors, there's all kinds of different types of people buried in this cemetery. And I think it's just a beautiful place. The witch, I didn't tell you. So this woman, Eliza Huger, she is said to have been a witch. Now, I don't think she was a witch at all. But, you know how stories go over time. Stories change. And the lore is that she was a witch. And it's only because I believe she was raised in a very a very Christian household, family. And her ways of doing things wasn't looked at in the greatest of, it was looked at like a sin to her family, so that they would label her evil. Her story is the way I have heard it. Now don't quote me on this, it's just what I have heard. I have not done any major research on Eliza, but it's what we've been told. It's the lore, it's the history that we have heard, or I have heard. And, well, what it is, how it goes is, Eliza lived in Charleston, South Carolina, back in, the early 1800s. And she decided she wanted to leave. She wanted to go on her own. So she went to New Orleans. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but they call Charleston and New Orleans the sister cities because they're a lot like each other. If you've ever been to Charleston, South Carolina, and New Orleans, they're very similar in ways. Anyways, so she decided to move to New Orleans. And at the time, she needed work. So she went out on her own. She went to New Orleans. And, well, she started working in what some say in a brothel. Now, mind you, this is over 200 years ago. So we don't know the specifics of that. If that's where she really went, that's what she really did. Anyways, they say that her brothers tracked her down in New Orleans, and while she was with a client, or it just could have been her boyfriend or someone she fell in love with. They say that the brothers shot and killed Eliza and her boyfriend or whatever and brought them back here to South Carolina. Now, when they come back to South Carolina, many churches would not bury Eliza because of, excuse me, a motorcycle's going by. So many churches would not allow Eliza to be buried in their cemeteries or their graveyards, I should say. So this, however, cemetery graveyard decided they would allow her to be buried here, but there would be some, well, let's just say that they had their own rules in order to bury her here. And that would be that they would build a wall around her grave to keep her evil sins in or keep things away. And this, however, I don't know exactly where it came about that she was a witch, but I don't know. There's different things said about Eliza. Now, Eliza's grave, I'm walking towards it. The wall, I don't know if nothing survives inside of the wall, or if that's the story. I always get confused on how the story goes. That either it's they can't keep things, they plant stuff inside and they can't keep it alive or whatever, but it looks like they have actually trimmed inside of the wall. And here is the grave of Eliza. So this is the grave of Eliza. And if you look at the stone, I hear it was hit with lightning. I don't know if that is true or not, but these cracks were caused by lightning. And people leave coins on her stone as a gift, I guess, or to appease her so she doesn't curse them or whatever, because she's, said to be a witch. And like I said, I am very sorry about the noise. It is right beside a highway, as you can see there. So it looks like somebody's been out here and decided to leave old Eliza and make a little boat trail. See right there. And somebody decided she needed a little bit of liquor too to go with that. I don't know if you see that liquor bottle down there. See that? Oh, somebody left a dollar bill there too. But anyways, so this is the grave of Eliza Huger, said to be a witch. But in those days, if you were different, you might most likely be labeled a witch. So she couldn't defend herself. She just wanted to live her own life and make her own way, and she did, and she was punished for it because she chose to do so, which was wrong. I doubt very seriously that she was a witch, but however, I don't know. I have brought a cat ball and an EMF, but I don't know. People always give the EMF a bad name. They say it's, or not the AMF, I'm sorry, the K2. I brought the K2 meter. And a lot of people give the K2 meter a bunch of crap because they say it's just picking up on temperatures. And it's not something haunted, it's picking up temperatures. That it's not picking up on any kind of magnetic or any kind of energy. So I don't know. I have the K2 and I have it right there. So I don't know. And I also have the cat ball. Now this one has also been crapped on, as it doesn't pick up anything either. It's got something to do with weather changes, and that's why it lights up. Now as you can see, here's the cat ball. So you have to push this button for it to light up. You see it lighting up there? Now see, I'm gonna put it over here, right there. Now I'm just gonna see. Now, like I said, this graveyard has many older graves. And the way I see it, there's a good possibility back in the day that somebody was perhaps buried here that wasn't dead. Because that happened a lot back in the older days. So I'm more likely to can be convinced that there may be spirits in this cemetery than more of a modern one. So, however, if there is, it doesn't have to be Eliza. It could be anybody. So if there's anybody out here that would like to communicate, you can. All you have to do is come closer to these things right here, these devices, or toys, if you want, whatever you want to call them. And once you get near them, they will light up. And you can push this little button on this cat ball. Eliza, are you here? Eliza, were you a witch, or were you just labeled as a witch? I doubt very seriously you were. I think your brothers just didn't like the fact that you have left, and they were jealous of it, or whatever, and they decided, well, you're a witch. Anything? Would you like to communicate? Would you like to talk to me? I know it's loud out here. Would you like to grab that device? All I gotta do is get close to it. No? I don't know. I don't think Eliza wants to speak to me. But yes, so there's different stories about Eliza. And that is one of the biggest ones, that she is a witch, or was a witch, and I don't think it was. But they built that wall to keep her sin in, keep sin out. I don't know particularly what they were thinking. I don't know how that's supposed to keep a spirit out. I don't really know. Or a spirit in. I don't know what they were thinking back in the day, but that's one of their ideas, that would keep bad spirits out. Oh, so for any indigenous Native Americans, there is a grave of Asanopa, or however his name is spoken. He is the only native buried in this cemetery, and he was actually friends with the pastor, the original pastor of the church, which is right there, back in the 1700s, and he was buried here. But carry on, see what's going on in this cemetery. People driving by like, what's this guy doing? Mind your business, folks. But anyway, look how old these graves are. It's beautiful. And that being October, it's awesome. Being this close to Halloween, just look at that. Just look at that right there. Look at that. That's beautiful. Just beautiful. So there's the old church, and I think it was put there and built in about, and it says it on the side of it, about 1777, I believe, is when that church was built. So I don't know, perhaps, is there anyone out here that would like to speak? Anyone? You can talk to me if you like. In the grave. take very good care of the cemetery, as you can see. But my thing is, I don't know if I like to live right there. If you believe in spirits, like I do, if you'd be that comfortable living right beside a cemetery, I don't know. But there are some old ones in here. I don't know, perhaps there is someone out here who'd like to speak. So I'm just going to, let's see, find a grave, lay the cat ball out there, and the K2, see if we get anything here. So you'll see that was me. I obviously pushed that. But let's just see if anything happens. I'm gonna step away as soon as that goes out. Is there anybody out here that would like to communicate? Any spirits, if you will? Anyone from the other side? A different dimension? Is it dimensions? When we leave this world, this one's covered in this. I never noticed that one before. It's covered in these bushes. Would anyone like to tell their story? Would you like to tell us what it's like on the other side, in the afterlife? Can you tell us a little bit of what's going to happen when we die? Maybe you're not aware that you did. Oh well, maybe you do. But anything? Can you push that ball right there? Push that little red button? No? Can you get near this and light it up? Not really, huh? Alright. I guess you're not in the mood. I guess I'll pick that up. But yeah. So I guess spirits don't really do what they're told. You just gotta think, they were human at one time. They were alive at one time. And it's like, I think people forget that when you're talking to spirits, they were people at one time. And sometimes people forget that, and I hear a lot of people who investigate or call themselves ghost hunters or interact with the afterlife or whatever you want to call it. They speak to the spirits like they're children, and they weren't children. Oh, there are spirits who are children, but they speak to these individuals like they were children or they're stupid sometimes. And that's just not the case. I think that if you're going to speak to spirits, you got to remember they were people at one time. And they were alive. And you wouldn't have spoke to them in that manner when they were alive. So why do you speak to them like this now? So, I don't know. And I don't suppose anything's going to manifest right in front of me. I mean, it might. But it's very slim chance that's going to happen with it so busy around it. And you know me, my belief is if something haunted, it's going to be haunted no matter what. Spirits are going to show themselves. Whatever you believe that spirits are, they will show themselves. But apparently not to me.